Hello everyone and welcome back to Growing with TJ. Today I'm going to go over my 2026 seed haul. So all the seeds I have ordered for this upcoming growing season. I'm not sure about you, but I do enjoy watching seed haul videos. It just gives you an idea of all the different varieties that are out there, and then you can do your own research to find out if it's something that will grow well in your area and it's something you would like to try in your garden. Now, in the past, I've gotten a lot of seeds from different companies, but this year I decided to get seeds from Johnny's. Another thing I would like to mention is to make sure you know your zone. You can do a quick Google search and figure that out. I am in zone 7A, Pennsylvania. So with Johnny's, they do have a pretty hefty shipping charge. But if you spend $200 or more, that shipping charge goes down to zero. So I got some seeds, I got some soil, and I was very easily able to hit my $200 mark to get free shipping. Now, I like to grow heirlooms and I like to grow hybrids. I think it's important to mix both of them together to make sure you have a successful growing season. So Johnny's, the prices per pack can be a little more pricey than other places. So if that's something that bothers you, you can, look around and find companies that sell cheaper packets. But with the hybrids that they sell, it offers a lot of disease-resistant packages, and that is why I like to get from Johnny's. Let's get into the different seed packets that I have here and the different varieties. Now, I will go over each variety. I'll give you a very brief description because I don't want the video to get too long. But if you see something that piques your interest, please look it up and learn a little bit more information about the variety and see if that is something that you are interested in growing in your area. We are going to start off with the carrots. Now, I've started buying pelleted carrot seeds, and that's just to help make sowing a little bit easier. When I grew carrots in the past, I would sprinkle a row or sprinkle them in, and then eventually you'll have to thin them out. Now, you can wait till you get a little carrot down there to thin it out. That way you can still, enjoy that carrot. But for me, with pelleted seeds, it just allows me to make my rows better. The sowing of it is that much simpler. So pelleted carrot seeds, and also I got pelleted lettuce seeds as well. So it's just going to help with the sowing process, and I personally do enjoy that. First one I got here is the Orange Fancy. Now this is a straight, uniform 7 to 8 inch carrot, and it is rather dark, and I'm looking forward to growing the Orange Fancy. Next carrot seed I have here, I did grow 2 years ago, and it was very successful for me. I did not grow it last year, but that is the Mokum. Now the Mokum is a slender pencil carrot, about 5.5 to 6.5 inches long, and it does have a really great taste. So the Mokum is definitely a great option if you're looking for, a skinnier type carrot. Next up, the Purple Fusion. I grew the Purple Fusion last year, and it is a great summertime performing lettuce. Super crunchy. It does better in the heat. It's more bolt resistant and heat resistant. So Purple Fusion, I'll probably keep growing that every year. It is just a very good tasting, crunchy lettuce that can continue growing through the summer, more so than your normal lettuces that will bolt when the temperatures start going up. Next up, we have the Star Fighter, and this is similar to the Purple Fusion. This is a green lettuce, but it has very good bolt resistance and heat tolerance. So it's kind of similar to the Purple Fusion. In my area, the temperatures really do, rise rather quickly in the spring. So I have trouble with lettuce bolting, radishes bolting, anything that doesn't enjoy higher temperatures, they tend to bolt. So I'm always looking for lettuces, radishes that, have a little more heat tolerance so I can kind of extend my harvest season into the summer. Let's move over to the onions. Now the onions, something you need to know about them is you have short day, intermediate day, and long day. And you need to know which area you live in so you know what type of onions you need to grow. For me, I am a long day, so I need to buy long day onion seeds. Last year, I bought Calibro onion seeds in their intermediate day. So unfortunately, my harvest was kind of poor. They were smaller bulbs, and it wasn't a great harvest of onions. So the first one I got here is the Patterson, and that is a great long storage onion. They have really thin necks, so they dry more quickly, and that helps with the storage. For my onions, I am always looking for, good storage onions. I want to be able to enjoy my onions, in the wintertime when there is not much going on. And so I'm looking for great storage onions. Next up is a red onion, and this is the red carpet. And this is a vibrant red, and again, it's a good storage onion. So I'm looking forward to this. In the past, I grew ruby red, and I didn't feel like they stored very well. So everything I've read about the red carpet is that it's a great storage onion. So I'm looking forward to, having onions in the wintertime that I can enjoy. Lastly, for the onions, this is a bunching onion, and this is the Yago. Now, the Yago is known to be able to grow in any type of condition. So I'm looking forward to having some bunching onions, and they're rather easy to grow because you're not getting a bulb out of them. You're more growing them for the green top, and you get a little white bulb. So the Yago, I've heard great things about the Yago, and I'm looking forward to trying this one. Next up, I have a radish variety, and it is the Purple Heart. Now, this has a white rind with a deep pink flesh. It is also known to be better bolt resistant than most radish seeds. Like I said, my spring gets hot, so I'm looking to extend my harvest. And the Purple Heart, I'll be curious to see if it does do better with warmer temperatures and see if I can extend my radish season. I only have one packet of radish seeds. I have French Breakfast, I have White Icicle, Giant Crimson. So I have a bunch of radish seeds left over, so I want to use them up, but I also wanted to try a different variety. So we'll try out the Purple Heart. Next up, we have a cucumber seed, and this is the only one I have this year, and this is the Diva. Now, I have extreme difficulty growing cucumbers because of the cucumber beetles. They have made growing cucumbers an absolute disaster. So I grew the Diva last year, and it's said to not resist cucumber beetles, but they should be less attractive to the Diva. That is because they don't have that bitter compound that the cucumber beetle really likes to, that's really attracted to. So this is a seedless, thin skin, crisp, sweet, like I said, bitter free, and it's about 5 to 7 inches is when it's best harvested. So from my experience growing it last year, the cucumber beetles are still attracted to it, but I did find that it is less attractive than some of the other varieties of cucumbers I have grown in the past. I'm going to give it another shot and see how it does for me. I'm almost to the point where I might not grow cucumbers just because it's just too much of a hassle with the cucumber beetles. So we'll give Diva another shot and see how that goes. Next up, we have a cantaloupe, and this is Sarah's Choice. This is said to have great flavor, and it's going to be about a 3-pound fruit. Now, I have limited area in my garden, so growing cantaloupes and watermelon is rather tough. So I will grow these vertically just to try to have some type of cantaloupe that I can enjoy. I also will grow bush watermelon just because it doesn't take up as much space. So I do love watermelon and cantaloupe. I do want to grow it myself, and that is one way I can try and manage, having watermelon and cantaloupe in my garden. So the Sarah's Choice. Next up, we have a bush bean, and this is called the Affirmed. Now, I will say that my all-time favorite bush bean is the Dragon Tongue. That is a white bean with purple streaks down it. It's a very great tasting, very prolific bush bean. So if you haven't grown that one before, I would highly suggest giving it a shot. But I want to try and switch it up this year and grow a green bean, so I am going to go with Affirmed. And Affirmed is a high-yielding 5 to 6 inch pod, dark green pods. So I'm really looking for like a dark green type bean. It is very upright and compact, which is good if you have limited space. And it's also good disease resistance from what I'm reading. So we'll give the affirmed bean a try and see how it goes. Now the next seeds I have here are eggplants. I am trying a few different varieties this year with the eggplants. In the past, I've grown Black Beauty, which is a pretty typical eggplant. And I also grown Patio Baby, which is a mini eggplant. So this year, I'm trying out the Nina eggplant, which is a spineless, purple, striped Italian eggplant. It has very good high yield potential. Now, this seed packet right here was, I think, $14, so pretty expensive to say the least. But everything I've read and the research I've done is that it's a very, very prolific eggplant and has really great flavor. So I'm not very big into eggplants. However, I do have a stand that I put out for the community. You know, pretty good pricing just because I want to spread the homegrown goodness to my community. And eggplants seem to be very successful and people really do enjoy them. So I'm going to try the Nina and I will find out if it is worth the price or not. But, you know, we'll see how it goes and see if I would, you know, ever pay that much for another eggplant seed in the future. Next up, we have the Fairy Tale. And this is a purple and white mini eggplant, 2 to 4 inches long, compact plant, great flavor, no bitterness, and it's said to have very few seeds. So I'm going to just give a different mini eggplant a try and see how it goes. Mini eggplants are pretty popular where I live, and I just figured I'd try a different variety to see how it goes. Moving on to one of my favorites, and that is the peppers. Let's bring them over here. We'll start off with the first one right here. These are the hot peppers that I have. And this is, let me get this right. This is the jalafuego, and this is a jalapeno pepper. 3.5 to 4 inch fruits, resistant to checking. So, you know, when you grow jalapenos and you see there's, you know, marks on them, it almost looks like a crack. It's supposed to be resistant to that. So in the previous years, I grew early jalapeno, and they did all right, but I never really was that impressed with them. So I wanted to try a different variety this year. So we have the jalafuego. Next up is a poblano pepper, and that is the Sargento. Now the Sargento is supposed to be a high yielding poblano, 2 to 3 lobe fruits, smooth, shiny, dark green, 5 to 6 inches long. And I have not grown poblanos in quite a few years, so I'm looking forward to that, having some poblano peppers in the garden this year. My last hot pepper seed here, I do have a bunch of hot pepper seeds from previous years, so I want to use them up, just try some different varieties, and I am going to butcher this name. This is the Velociraptor, and this is a habanero pepper. Bright cherry red fruits, has the classic habanero shape. I don't do much with habaneros or like hot peppers in that range because it's just a little bit too spicy for me. But I do have some people that enjoy making sauces, and I did try one of their sauces last year. They made a peach habanero sauce. It was very good, very spicy, a little too spicy for me, but I'm going to grow some of them so I can put on the stand and, you know, they can make their sauces with this habanero. Now let's go into the sweet peppers, and to my surprise, I only bought one sweet pepper. Now I do have, this is a bell pepper, and I do have a lot of bell peppers. I have King of the North, Ozark, Giant. I have a few back there that did really well for me. I really enjoyed them, so I want to grow them again, but I also wanted to try a different variety, and this is a red bell pepper, and this is the Sprinter F1. And like I said, it's supposed to be very good flavor, and it is a red bell pepper. So I'm always trying to find the next best bell pepper, so I'll keep trying different varieties to see what does best for me in my area. Now moving on to the tomatoes. I am a huge tomato fan, and I can't get enough of tomatoes. I can't get enough of different varieties of tomatoes, so I'm always going to be planting a ton of tomatoes in my garden. Now these are determinate tomatoes. Now I've never grown them besides last year, because I always thought in my head, you know, I want indeterminate tomatoes so that I can, you know, keep getting a harvest throughout the whole year until the frost comes or disease takes them out. But when I started growing these, it was a game changer. You know, I do have a stand, like I said, and it really helped keep tomatoes on the stand. And also I loved having harvest of tomatoes, they usually come on, 2 to 4 weeks, and you get all your tomatoes basically. And it just help me have tomatoes throughout the year along with the indeterminate tomatoes. So this is the STM2255, rich red, 8 to 12 ounce fruits, and a very broad disease resistant package, which is huge when you're talking about tomatoes because they can get hit hard with diseases. The other determinate tomato I have is the Galahad, and this is supposed to be a fantastic flavor. Again, great disease resistance, 7 to 12 ounce fruits. So I'm looking forward to see how this one does. This was actually pretty expensive package as well for only 15 seeds. So we'll see if it's worth the money. Moving on with the indeterminate tomatoes, which I grow a lot, and I have a bunch of seeds left over, but I can't help myself, and I got some new varieties to try. First up, we have the Moscovich. And this is an extra early tomato, 60 days. So I get frustrated having to wait until July to get any type of tomato besides cherries. So I was looking for an earlier tomato, and this seems like this could be the one for me. Deep red, 4 to 6 ounce tomatoes. So they are a little bit smaller, but smooth, globe shaped, and they have a rich flavor, and they are cold tolerant, which makes sense considering they are an early tomato. They might have to deal with a little bit of cold and to be able to be successful. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. I hope I get some early tomatoes. Next up, we have an orange tomato, and this is the Marmalade Skies, 7 to 8 ounce consistent fruits. It's said to be more productive than the Chef's Orange, which is what I grew in the past, and I always felt like they weren't too productive, at least for me in my area. And they also have a late blight resistance, so that is huge. So we'll grow this orange tomato. I'm not too big on orange tomatoes, but a lot of people do enjoy them, and they're asking me to grow them. So I wanted to try one that might have a little bit more success than the Chef's Orange. So that is the Marmalade Skies. Next indeterminate tomato I have here is the Strawberry Field. This is a pink slicer, 7 to 10 ounce tomato. Balanced flavor, sweet and acidic as well. It's more tolerant to blossom end rot and less shoulder cracking, and also has late blight resistance. So the shoulder cracking is something that bugs me the most. When you have a nice looking tomato and you get a nice rain and it starts cracking. I personally can still eat them, but I'm not going to put them on the stand. So I'm always looking for a good, tomato that is less likely to crack. We got 2 more left. This is the grape tomato I chose this year. Excuse me, I don't grow grape tomatoes very often. Last year I grew Brad's Atomic Grape. So if you know anything about that, it's a very unique tomato. It did fairly well for me. The flavor was so-so. It wasn't nothing great. So I wanted to get a more typical grape tomato. And this is the Valentine F1. Now, this is supposed to be massive early yields. I think it takes 55 days to start getting grape tomatoes from this plant. Deep red color, rich flavor, and early blight resistance, I believe. So, looking forward to having a normal grape tomato in my garden this year, and not the Brad's Atomic. Maybe I'll throw a seed or 2 in with Brad's Atomic. It was cool to try it. Just wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. But maybe it'll work better for you, and maybe you'll enjoy the flavor. So Brad's Atomic would be an interesting one to grow for you. Last up, this is my all-time favorite cherry tomato. Real sweet tomato flavor, firm. This is the Sakura. Now the Sakura is, I'm telling you, it is a very, very productive cherry tomato. It just, produces fruit after fruit after fruit all year long until, you get your frost. It has a very good disease-resistant package, medium to large cherry tomatoes. It is one of the first to ripen. 50, 55 days, you're going to start getting some Sakura cherry tomatoes. So if you're looking for a highly reliable cherry tomato, one that's just going to be very productive for you, I highly, highly recommend the Sakura. I mean, the flavor is absolutely wonderful. If you like that tomato flavor, this is the one for you. Try the Sakura cherry tomato. So there you have it. That is my 2026 seed haul video. You know, I didn't get as many seeds as years past, but that's just because I want to go through some of my seeds from last year. And there's some varieties there that I really enjoyed, so I want to grow them again. I may end up getting, you know, a few more seeds from my local company, Roar Seeds Company, just to support local. We'll see how that goes. I probably will end up getting some transplants. I always do from the greenhouses. But overall, this is pretty much the seeds I got for this year. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found any of these seeds, you know, interesting, please look them up. Maybe there'll be something you want to grow in your garden this year. Just make sure it's going to do well for your area. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and have a wonderful day.